Hey everyone, and welcome back to card number 2 in my November 2021 Christmas season class by mail. Excuse me, I've got hiccups. Hopefully they won't interrupt too much. I thought for card 2 we'd do this little one here. I have actually done a video with something very, very similar to this card previously, but I loved it so much I thought I definitely would include it in this class. So it's got some of the really pretty designer series paper on the side there. I'm going to use the red ribbon that comes with the collection instead of this gold one on the card I'm going to show you. And then we've got a panel that has been embossed with the beautiful pine cone pattern, not pine cone, pine needle pattern from this embossing folder, which is one of the little mini ones. And it keeps slipping my memory what it's actually called, but it's in the mini catalogue, and I really like that one as well. Okay, so this is our card. You might as well get started. I'll just get everything out. As I say, be careful when you open up, especially this one. It's got your little, you'll have your little gold holly berries in there, holly leaves in there that might fall out and disappear if you're not careful, if you're anything like me. So I've got 2 cards worth in here. I'm just going to fish out one card. So here's our designer series paper. Here's our embossed panel. There should also be a card base and a white panel for inside. Plus there'll be some spare cardstock for stamping. So there's our card base. There's our panel for the inside. Make sure you get the sizing right. There's the panel for the inside. There'll also be some spare cardstock for stamping and either die cutting or fussy cutting. So be careful, that will be different sized to the one to the inside, so make sure you don't get them mixed up. I've already done some of that here, so I've got a bit of a scrap, so that one's there. Oh, plus you've got some ribbon and some of the little cute holly leaves, which I might actually leave in the envelope until I need them, just in case. And then we've got, I'm just trying to get this, put this in this sentiment box, and I'll get the ribbon out as well because we're going to need that fairly early in the piece. Okay, so as I say, card base, normal side card base. This is Evening Evergreen cardstock, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, scored in the middle. Panel for the inside, which just sits on the inside. That's only an 1/8 of an inch smaller, so not too much smaller there. Then you've got your panel of embossed cardstock, and that is an 1/8 of an inch smaller as well, so that would be 5 5/8 long, and I think it's about 2 2.5 wide. So obviously it's going to only be on the right hand side of your card. And you've got a strip of designer series paper, and that's 2 inches wide, so they overlap a tiny bit. And then that join we're going to cover over with that glorious cherry cobbler gold ribbon there. So you've got enough there for 2 cards, obviously. You only need half each card. Okay, that's nothing. That one there, people ask me what's that piece for. That's for nothing but for holding your ribbon, so you can pop that away. As I say, then a sentiment box and some of the holly leaves, and you're done. So I'm going to do some stamping here. So we're actually going to stamp and either die cut or fussy cut. It's up to you, whatever you have at home. If you have the dies, I could, probably suggest you die cut. But you might love fussy cutting, which is not me. Okay, so I'm going to be doing 2 of the small pine cones from the stamp set. So there's a sort of a blocky image and then a detail image. So a background image and a detail image. So the background image I'm going to do in crumb cake, and the detail I'm going to do in early espresso. So this is the background one. So you're going to do 2 of these. Okay. Then bring in the finer detail one. There's your early espresso. And you just sort of position the detail just over the top of the background, and it just gives you that sort of light and dark that you would get in your everyday run-of-the-mill pine cone. Looks quite good. Looks really nice. I like that. Let's bring that a bit closer. There we go. My camera would focus on it. Okay, so you're also going to need, you can use it, or, you know, whatever images, whatever leaves from the set you like, to be honest, but in this particular one, I'm going to use this sort of longer leafy sort of thing. I don't know, it's any specific foliage type. And I'm doing that in our Old Olive. You need 2 of these. I might not have room on my piece of cardstock for 2, but you will need 2. Okay. And then you'll need 2. I'm going to use 2 of the pine coney, I keep saying that, pine needle images. So you'll need 2 of these as well. I'm going to do these in Evening Evergreen. So again, you'll need 2 of these. I'm just going to do 1 because I've only got a little scrap. Just 2 of those. And 2 lots of the holly berries. And berries consistently in this class are in cherry cobbler. But whatever lovely dark deep red you happen to have at home would be fine. You need 2 lots of the berries as well. So then you either need to fussy cut those out or pop them through your die machine with the dies. And you will get the various little bits and pieces that you need. So don't worry, I have done them already, so I'll just pop those aside for the next one. So we've got 2 of the long slender leaves in Old Olive, 2 of the berries, 2 of the pine needles, and 2 of the little pine cones. So cute. Okay, so we've got all of those. While we're inking and stamping, we might do our sentiment as well. Oh, use that. So again, I'm going to the complimentary stamp set, the Christmas to Remember, and this time I'm going to use Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And this time I'm going to again do it in, stamp it in the nice dark Evening Evergreen. And it's actually pretty much perfect for this particular sentiment box. It sort of kisses the bottom and kisses the top, and then the ends sort of fit perfectly into those little scalloped ends as well. So you can tell they've been designed with each other in mind. So if you haven't got that Christmas to Remember and you want to use this particular bundle, I suggest you pop in an order before it goes. Okay, so I think we've got all our stamping done. Let's quick and pop this one together. Might pop the centre panel in first to get it out of the way, so I don't stamp on it or something silly. Yeah, so that one just goes in there. And again, you can bring in the colours and the stamps from the outside into the inside, put another sentiment on there. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in our pine needles. Yeah, I got it right that time. That's going to go on the right-hand side, and then the Designer Series paper is going to go on the left-hand side. And as I mentioned, the ribbon is going to go up the middle. So what we're best to do is, I can't remember how I did it now, is to, we've got more, obviously the panel of the embossed panel is wider than the Designer Series paper panel. So what I'm going to do is wrap the ribbon around, hard up on the edge of that embossed panel there, and then that'll sit on the card like that. So what we can do is pop our Designer Series paper on. We're not going to flip anything around that. So these are cut deliberately slightly smaller than your card base, so you're going to have to move them a little bit until you get the right border, top, bottom and on the left. So it will just be the normal sort of 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Then what we're going to do is bring in our embossed panel, or our embossed panel. I'm going to bring some double-sided tape into play. So work out that's our, this is the part that's going in the middle of our card. So the double-sided tape needs to be towards that. I've got to get that right. Yeah, so towards the left-hand side of the panel. I just didn't want to use too much of it. You could use all double-sided tape, I suppose, and attach it all that way, which would probably work. So on this side. And again, as I say, bring the ribbon right to the very edge of the, so it just runs straight along the edge of the cardstock, near enough for it to flip over the edge and stick to your double-sided tape, like that, all the way hard up. And then I'm going to trim it because the rest of it belongs to the other kit in this pack. And so it sticks there as well. Okay, so there you can see you've got that ribbon hard up on the left hand edge of that piece of cardstock, which will become the centre of our card. There we go, all slightly off centre. So I'm just going to finish the rest of that with some glue. Put that on, and again we're going to have the same sort of gap on top, bottom, and in this case right hand side. And that down a little bit till the glue takes. Cool. Okay, so there we are. We have our ribbon in place there. Okay, so not much left to go on this one really, to be honest. We've got our stamped sentiment box, which is going to pop on there, and we've got our various bits of Christmas foliage. So, make sure I'm doing it right from my original. What I'm going to do is just glue that sentiment box down. So just sort of on the right hand side, so it mostly sits on our green embossed layer, sort of slightly over there. We're going to be sticking lots of things around it, so don't worry too much if it flaps up at that right hand side, but we just make sure it sticks to this part on the right. If it flicks up on the left, it doesn't really matter too much. There we are, so we've got that. What we're going to do is bring in our various bits and bobs. So I'm going to have this particular pine cone just sort of sitting just on our sentiment box to the top there. So that one's going to be glued on. And then our various bits and bobs of foliage are going to sort of sneak up under and around that. So like that. Sort of coming up there. So we're sort of forming a bit of a frame over there, like that. If you want to do yours different, of course, go for it. Okay. And then this second pine cone I'm going to pop on a dimensional sort of, so it just sort of kisses the sentiment box as well. But we'll bring that one in a second, and then the little berries are going to snuggle in around as well. So what I might do is, first of all, I'm going to pop this one on, because as I've mentioned before, I'm not a very good visual thinker, so I need to see things before I can do them. So I'm going to pop just a tiny bit of glue on the middle of that pine cone so I can slip the other foliages around it. If you can sort of hold the image in your head better than me, you might be able to glue them all down first. But as I say, I need to see it in place before I can be happy. So then I'm going to bring in our long, tall foliage. Put one there, coming up the side of the card. And the designer series paper. And then the second one. Now it's going to go across your ribbon as well. So it should be okay. Stick to that ribbon pretty well. The ribbon's quite good. Doesn't sort of slide too much. Then our little pine needles, I'll bring them in. There. And the other pine needles, actually I'll put now I'll bring in the second pine cone and pop it on a dimensional or two. There. So they're just sort of overlapping the sentiment box a little bit, but not covering over your sentiment at all. Then this second little pine cone of him across the bottom, and as I say, we're sort of framing our sentiment quite cutely. Now our berries, I'm going to bring them in. They haven't got their stalks, they're just sort of single berries or separate berries, but that's good. I think that's fine. I'm going to bring one up here at the top. Just adds a little bit of colour, and the other one down here. Wow. Okay, so there we are. That's really nice. It's like a perfect little sort of decoration, Christmas table decoration on a card. Okay, so the final thing you need for this one is your little pine, holly leaves, little gold holly leaves. So I've brought them out last. So you should have 2 holly leaves per card. So there might be a combination of big and little, or too little or too big, depending on what I had in my pack at the time when I was packing your kit. But you've got 2 for this card. Probably just pop a little bit of glue on the back, and just where you feel that it's a little bit lacking in bling or colour or whatever, you can pop your little holly leaves in. I might pop one in there. And pop the other one. Where will the other one go? So whatever you feel, wherever you feel you need to add a little bit of extra something. Now they are a little bit funny with their glue. You have to be a little bit careful. They will move around until the glue solidifies. But they're lovely. I really are one of my favourite things out of the holiday catalogue. I did open my blind again. I thought the sun had moved on, but it's come back a little bit. Yeah, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Okay, so that is card number 2. That's our Holly Jolly Christmas pine cone card with our ribbon. Isn't that glorious, that ribbon? So, yeah, hope you like that one. So you can pop, as I say, pop another sentiment or some images or something on the inside. And there you are. That's card number 2. Okay, so I'll stop this one now and we'll come back to card number 3, which I think probably is the most involved of the 3 of this class. But anyway, I think I like it too. Okay, all right, so thank you.